Good day and happy Sabbath. It is Saturday, April the 6th, and I said I need to go back in my previous videos and check to see if I've been saying March. I believe I may have, but anyway, it's April, and any of those that I have messed up in, I will correct. Oh my goodness. But it's April the 6th, and we are reading Leviticus 5. So we are dealing with the instructions of God to Moses as to how sacrifices and offerings are supposed to be carried out. So let's see what more instructions God has for the children of Israel. And if a soul sin and hear the voice of swearing, and is a witness, whether he hath seen or known of it, if he do not utter it, then he shall bear his iniquity. Or if a soul touch any unclean thing, whether it be a carcass of an unclean beast, or a carcass of unclean cattle, or the carcass of unclean creeping things, and if it be hidden from him, he also shall be unclean and guilty. Or if he touch the uncleanness or uncleanness of man, whatsoever uncleanness it be, that a man shall be defiled withal, and it be hid from him, when he knoweth of it, then he shall be guilty. Or if a soul swear, pronouncing with his lips to do evil or to do good, whatsoever it be that a man shall pronounce with an oath, and it be hid from him, when he knoweth of it, then he shall be guilty in one of these. And it shall be when he shall be guilty in one of these things, that he shall confess that he has sinned in that thing. So these first 5 verses are talking about sinning by swearing, sinning by touching something unclean, the carcass of an unclean animal, knowingly or unknowingly. So if they didn't know about it at the beginning, and I don't know how, but if you heard swearing, okay, they said if you heard swearing but you didn't say it, then you still are guilty of it. I believe so. So, you know, today we have a world, I would say, because I've been to many other countries, and swearing is like just part of our vernacular. We just say bad words and bad phrases, even using God's name or Jesus's name in it. And I'm not quite sure where swearing, I guess but they're talking about it way back in biblical times, thousands of years ago. So swearing is something that we have today, and some of us swear in our homes like, you know, water runs from the tap when we turn it on. It just comes out. And then we bring children into those homes, and they pick it up, and it just comes out. And then they go to school, and the teachers try to tell them, you don't say those words. But then they go back home, and they hear the adults saying it. I had to deal with that with students in my class, and had to put it up as one of my classroom rules. No swearing. No swearing. Even if you've heard it at home. And the strange thing is, parents will be using it, swearing at their children, and then they don't want the children to be using those swear words. But we need to really be an example of what we want to see later on in our children. Some of the babies hear it from in the womb. People think your child can't hear or feel or sense anything because it's in incubation. No, that child hears it from in the womb and comes out with all of that. I mean, so that is for swearing. And then we have for touching unclean carcasses. Okay, so whether or not you swore or you heard it, you need to you're gonna bear the iniquity of it. You've been around it. So I guess you had to kind of surround yourself with people who you know of good reputation. And sometimes we can't help but hear, because we are in a place. And I was just walking through, was it the mall or and it was not even a secluded area, a place where people were shopping, and this man is standing there. I don't know if he was out of his mind or what, but he's just swearing. I guess he was talking on his phone and using these swear words out, you know. So this is what we have to deal with in our time. And I guess there's nothing new under the sun, as Solomon said. It's the truth. So moving on to verse 6. And he shall bring his trespass offering unto the Lord for his sin which he hath sinned, a female from the flock, a lamb or a kid of the goats, for a sin offering, and the priest shall make an atonement for him concerning his sin. And if he be not able to bring a lamb, then he shall bring for his trespass which he has committed 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons unto the Lord, one for a sin offering and the other for a burnt offering. And he shall bring them unto the priest, who shall offer that which is for the first sin offering first, wring off his head from his neck, but shall not divide it asunder. And he shall sprinkle of the blood of the sin offering upon the side of the altar, and the rest of the blood shall be wrung out at the bottom of the altar. It is a sin offering. And he shall offer the second for a burnt offering according to the manner, and the priest shall make an atonement for him for his sin which he has sinned, and it shall be forgiven him. So those next 5 verses are dealing with how they are to atone for the sin that took place. They are supposed to bring a lamb, female, and if they can't afford a lamb, because again, everyone is not in the same social or financial position, then 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons would be accepted. And if they were pigeons, then the necks would be wrung, but the birds will not be cut up. If it is the lamb, the lamb will be killed, its blood taken and sprinkled, and the rest poured out at the bottom of the altar, and the lamb would be divided up and burned accordingly, like we read in chapter 4. Okay, moving on to verse 11. But if he be not able to bring 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, then he that sinned shall bring for his offering the 10th part of an ephah of fine flour for a sin offering. He shall put no oil upon it, neither shall he put any frankincense thereon, for it is a sin offering. Then shall he bring it to the priest, and the priest shall take his handful of it, even a memorial thereof, and burn it on the altar according to the offerings made by fire unto the Lord. It is a sin offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for him as touching his sin, that he had sinned in one of these, and it shall be forgiven him. And the remnant shall be the priest's as a meat offering. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, if a soul commit a trespass and sin through ignorance in the holy things of the Lord, then he shall bring for his trespass unto the Lord a ram without blemish out of the flocks, with thy estimation by shekels of silver, after the shekel of the sanctuary, for a trespass offering. So here we have, if they are not able to bring a lamb or turtle doves, God is so merciful. He's thinking of the people. That's love. Not thinking of yourself. Not strictly saying, I want a lamb. So you can bring flour, and there's specifications for it. The 10th part of an ephah, I guess that's some sort of measuring device. No oil, and no incense, because that's like something, if you're offering up maybe a more not a sin offering, that sweet scent is not for sin offerings. And it will be burnt on the altar, and the priest will make an atonement for him. And if you sin ignorantly in holy things, okay, maybe you touched something you weren't supposed to touch, or did something, or said something, you know, then you were supposed to bring a ram without blemish, with thy estimation by shekels of silver, after the shekel of the sanctuary, and you were to make a trespass offering. If you sinned ignorantly by maybe doing or saying something about something holy. Verse 16, and he shall make amends for the harm that he has done in the holy thing, and shall add the 5th part thereto, and give it unto the priest. And the priest shall make an atonement for him with the ram of the trespass offering, and it shall be forgiven him. And if a soul sin and commit any of these things which are forbidden to be done by the commandments of the Lord, though he wist it not, yet is he guilty, and shall bear his iniquity. And he shall bring a ram without blemish out of the flock, with thy estimation, for a trespass offering, unto the priest. And the priest shall make an atonement for him concerning his ignorance, wherein he erred and wist it not, and it shall be forgiven him. It is a trespass offering. he has certainly trespassed against the Lord. So I've heard sometimes where, you know, God winks at ignorance. Yeah, but you're gonna still, this here shows that you have to hold yourself accountable. That, you know, if someone brings it to your attention that, hey, you sinned and you know you did the thing, it's time for you to make amends for it. Don't just sit there and say, well, I didn't know. Okay, well, you didn't know then, but now you know now. It was something wrong that you did. And it's like sometimes you go to people and they've been living a certain way or doing a certain thing that is wrong. And when you bring it to their attention, the first thing they will say is, well, I didn't know. Oh, that's true. But now you do know, past and present. So you are supposed to make amends for your wrongdoing. You don't continue on it, or you don't just let it go. You have to make amends. And of course, cease to do the wrong thing. And that is it for Leviticus chapter 5. So, again, I thank you all for listening, for viewing, and some of you who maybe read the chapters after I do, that's great. Always reaffirm what you've heard. Don't just sit there and take it and say, oh, that's what's in the Bible. You take your Bible out. People have died to have a Bible in their hands. Literally been killed so they don't have one. It's the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. And the only way you can fear God is if you know what he requires and you do it. So you have to read his word. And there you will know. Remember, faith comes by hearing God's word. Happy Sabbath. Bye.